Let's dig into a question that really gets to the heart of Dutch culture, all through one single deep-fried snack. Why are the Dutch so completely and utterly obsessed with bitterballen? So picture this. It's 5 o'clock, the workday's over, that magical hour the Dutch call Borreltide, or drink time, has officially started. And all across the Netherlands, in cozy old pubs and sunny sidewalk cafes, you can just feel this collective sigh of relief.
And right in the middle of it all, on almost every single table, you'll see a steaming plate of these little golden orbs. I'm telling you, they're so much more than just a snack. They're a cultural institution. So what is the deal with this deep-fried ball of joy?
Okay, first, the basics. What is a bitterball? Well, it's this little bite-sized miracle. You've got this perfectly crunchy breadcrumb shell, and when you bite through it, you get this incredibly smooth, ridiculously hot, savory meat stew, or ragu, on the inside. It is an absolute masterclass in texture and temperature. But to really get why it's so important, we have to go back, like way back. This isn't just some modern bar food. Its story stretches across 2,000 years, starting as a clever way to use up leftovers and turning into a straight-up national legend. I mean, just look at this timeline. It's wild. The basic idea starts around 200 BC with Germanic tribes making these portable meat stews. But the real game changer? That came during the Spanish occupation in the 16th century. They're the ones who introduced breading and deep frying. And boom, it's starting to look familiar. Fast forward to the 18th century, it becomes the perfect tavern food. And then after World War II, mass production kicks in and it becomes a staple in every freezer. And what about the name Bitterbal? You know, a classic tourist mistake is thinking it tastes bitter. Nope, not at all. The name actually comes from what it was served with, a bittertje, which is a small glass of a strong herbal Dutch spirit, kind of like gin. So the snack was literally the ball that you ate with your bitters. So, okay, the bitterbal has this super long history, but its real power, its real significance, is all about its role in Dutch social life today. It is the edible heart of a really important cultural ritual. And that ritual is called the Borrel. Now, don't just think of this as a happy hour. A Borrel is, well, it's a whole social phenomenon. It's that informal get-together for drinks and snacks that just solidifies the bonds between colleagues, friends, and family. It's really all about connection. And the whole point of the Borrel is to create Gezelligheid. This is one of those famous Dutch words you hear about that just doesn't translate. But it captures this feeling of warmth, of coziness, of just being together. And if you could somehow make that feeling edible, well, it would taste exactly like a hot, savory bitterball. This quote just nails the social magic of the snack. Because they're always served on a shared plate, they literally force you to interact. The number of bitterballen almost never perfectly matches the number of people, which leads to this fun, friendly little negotiation over who gets the last one. It's a tiny edible icebreaker. Okay, so we've got the social side down, but what about the actual food science here? What exactly makes a bitterball so unbelievably satisfying to eat? It's basically culinary engineering. All right, let's look under the hood. The secret is all about the structure. It starts with a roux, that's just butter and flour, to thicken the stew. Then gelatin is often the secret weapon that helps it get firm when it's cool, but turn into that molten lava when it's hot. The flavor comes from rich, shredded beef or veal, and that signature Dutch touch, a little pinch of nutmeg. And you wrap it all in a double layer of breadcrumbs for that incredible crunch. And look, you absolutely cannot talk about bitterballen without talking about mustard. This is not just some random dip, okay? That sharp, acidic tang of the mustard is the perfect partner. It cuts right through the rich, fatty flavor of the ragu, and it just cleans your palate, getting you ready for the next bite. And yes, there is an unspoken etiquette. Rule number 1, you use a toothpick, never a fork. It keeps things casual. Rule 2, you just dip one side lightly. You want to complement the flavor, not overpower it. And rule 3, the most important one, respect the heat. Every local knows to wait a second, and every tourist, well, they learn that lesson the hard way. But this tradition isn't just stuck in the past. The bitterbal is always evolving, and like any big cultural icon, it's facing its fair share of modern debates and challenges. And this is where things get really interesting. You've got the traditional beef bitterball, right? The classic. But now the modern bitterball is a total chameleon. Chefs have come up with amazing plant-based versions using everything from mushrooms to jackfruit, which means pretty much everyone can get in on the experience.
And we are not talking about some niche trend here. Just look at this growth, a whopping 201% jump in plant-based Bitterballen sales in just 2 years. That tells you there's a huge shift happening, especially in places like company cafeterias where they now make up more than 20% of all Bitterballen sold. It's huge. Of course, it's not all been a smooth ride. For a long time, there have been critiques of the Dutch fat culture and the health concerns around deep-fried food. And historically, snack bars were sometimes looked down on as low culture. So today, you've got this constant push and pull between loving a traditional comfort food and, modern health advice. So, where does all this leave our little fried ball? Is it a relic of the past, or is it a symbol of the future? Well, the answer seems to be it's a little bit of both. Because, really, at the end of the day, this is what it all comes down to. A bitterball is not just a piece of food. It's an experience. It is the edible version of that feeling of Gezelligheid, of warmth, of connection, of just having a really good time together.
From a clever way to use up scraps 2,000 years ago, to the social glue in an Amsterdam bar, to a modern snack that's adapting to new tastes. This humble little ball tells the entire story of the Netherlands. It's about being resourceful, staying connected, and having a shared identity. And that kind of makes you wonder, right? What's the simple food that holds the heart of your culture?